As a Vesta, that I always start my sessions with my client with a prayer for protection and for guidance. And this is the prayer that I received from Mother Vesta. The flame of justice, the flame of protection, the flame of warmth, the flame of love. The flame illuminates the darkness within and without. The flame overlooks the new earth for the new children. Mother Vesta is here for you. Please come and receive this gift with your pure heart and pure intent. Together we flame, and together we are one. And this is the Libra full moon lunar eclipse. And the eclipse happened when the axis between the earth, the sun and moon, and the earth go between and blocking the light of the moon. That's when the eclipse happened. And usually in ancient time, we know eclipse that either there is solar or lunar eclipse has been always interpreted with some catastrophe and bad things will happen. And with full moon in particular is more to do with like earthquake or famine and stuff. Now we have a better understanding that the eclipse is a phenomenon, and it has a very huge energies and in our planetary movement. And in this lunar eclipse in Libra, I actually think it is quite benevolent and have positive energies towards us. And before we look at the chart, I would like to share with you the Sabian symbols that are usually the Sabian symbols are usually I always use it to show my clients how the pictures, especially on their sun sign, how it represents their soul, their sun, their purpose in this life embodiment. Because this is a Libra full moon, instead of the sun, I am looking at the moon symbol. So it is in Libra 5 degrees something, and we go down to the Libra 6 degree. And the image that we can see here is a man watches his ideals, talking a concrete form before his inner vision. The keynote is the need to visualize clearly one's dreams or ideals in order to make them truly effectual. According to a French proverb, it is well conceived, can easily be formulated. The process of interior visualization can be quite essential, except in this case of a creative individual who has become a totally pure channel for the descent of spiritual power, and a clear lens through which the archetype in the mind of man or God can be projected without distortion wherever needed. In other cases, the creative act is less direct. A man projects into the world what he has seen reflected on the screen of his individualized consciousness. This is the first stage of the 38-55 sequence of symbolized phrases in the process of individualized existence. It is a phrase of interior formulation in preparation for a creative projection of one ideals or concept. I will stop sharing for a moment to explain a little bit of the Sabian symbols. Okay, here we have quite a lot. My colleagues in the Galactic Astrology, but anyway, with the Sabian symbols, if we look at the natal chart, that is 360 degrees, and each house and each sign has 30 degrees. And so in each degree, there is one image reflects the essence of that degree. And in this Libra full moon in particular, and I think this Libra 6 degree is really calling out each of us as an individuals to look deep within our follower bodies to understand what we are here to create. And in order to do that, we must also understand who we are as an individuals. The ideas that is creating before it become an ideal that we can manifest outward. And so that is I think that is a very internal process for us to really go deep and understand who we are, shedding all this external influence that has been influencing us since the day that we are born, through schooling, through our cultures, through our families, through the modern societies, the media and everything. And when we blocking all that and just look within our true essence to find who we are as an individual. And this Libra and Aries axis of the North Node and South Node, later on we will see in the chart, is quite interesting in how it corresponds also to this Libra 6 degree. So I will start sharing again. So here is the chart for today, actually, for the 25th of March. And the full moon the moon is in Libra 5 degree and 7 seconds. And as a consequence, it is a full moon, so the sun would be in the opposite sign. Before we look at this full moon, I would like to invite us to go back to 2023, when the South Node and North Node axis entered Aries and Libra. Just a side note. This is like a headphone. This strange symbol is the North Node, and this is the South Node. And instead of moving forward, it moved backward. It's just an axis. It's not a planet, and it is the way it is. And so this North Node entered Aries last year, July, and the South Node entered Libra as an opposite sign. So I think, and the eclipse very often happened according to the nodes movement, and that's why, like in October we have the Libra solar eclipse, and later on in the 8th of April we will have Aries solar eclipse. And so I think the influence is really started at the beginning of July last year, when this movement already starts to ask us, as Aries, usually as Aries is the first sign in our in a chart, it represents the person I am, the personalities, while the opposite sign in Libra represents the relationships, the we are, that embrace more than one person. And with North Node, it already set to ask us to find, to go within, to know who we are as an individuals. So I to those of you that are not galactic astrologers, I did ask you to print out your natal chart, so you can see the Libra and Aries axis, in which house it is in your chart, to know which area is influencing you. And so since July, it started this process of searching the North Node, who I am actually, and as a consequences of my South Node relationship with the others. While it is the South Node, instead of searching who I am, it is here in asking us to say, we as an individuals, are we living the kind of relationship that we truly want, we truly desire? Do we follow what the social cultures and systems that putting us going through certain process, and like study, start dating, get married, have children, and all these very traditional steps, and somehow we need to find out who we are in our relationships? And so it started in July, the first influence in this axis between Libra and Aries. And last year, on the 14th of October, we have a Libra solar eclipse. From my understanding, I think it was the opening of a blanket of shining really that significance in Libra, in finding who you are within our relationships. And it might be the first stage that we started to understand somehow the kind of relationships might be something needs to be changed, might be it doesn't work as well as we expected, or maybe we were being asked to confront certain old system and say, this is who I am together with another person. Is this the way that it is? I like it, or should I make some adjustments to it? And I think in many cases that is the beginning of understanding the relationship that we are in not working, and maybe there is some division, separations, that only you can know the process that you have gone through since the 14th of October last year. And now, with this full moon, because it's in Libra, I actually want to invite us to look to look at the symbol of Libra. Libra is a very interesting sign. It's the only sign in the whole zodiac system that is not of a living being, not an animal and not a human. All the other signs are animals or human beings. And even Sagittarius is Centaurus. And as it's represented by a scale, that balancing act, between two signs, and because it is a scale, that is always this up and down, the compromise, the trying to bring two sides into a balance point. But then again, Libra also represents by adjusted systems. And somehow I think most of us forget when we look at the justice that she is holding a scale, but she is also holding a sword. As a double Libra myself, and I would say like, she hold on to this scale as long as possible, trying to balance as long as possible. But the moment that is something to be strike, here comes the sword. And I think from this Libra and Aries South North Node with the solar eclipse last year, it is already started. The moment that this Libra is starting to reclaim of her identities also in a relationship setting, while on the opposite side, Aries is helping her to find out who she really is. And with Libra, his ruler is Venus. Venus at this moment is in Pisces, which is benevolent for her energies, and she is conjuncting Saturn in Pisces. And have a look at your birth chart, which house it is in, and what kind of settings that we are really talking in your birth chart. But here is actually with Venus and Saturn together is okay. Venus is not, is someone is about loving, romance, and trying to be unconditional and embracing everyone as much as possible. Meanwhile, with Saturn in Pisces, I think Saturn has been here since last year as well, since 2023. And it is actually helping this Venus essence in Libra to set the boundaries that is needed in order to find out who she is as a Libra. And on Libra opposite sign, where the sun is, we have Aries. And as we talked about before, Aries is about I am, the self-identity. And he is going through a huge healing process together with Chiron. They are still conjunct from 18 to 16 and 18 degrees. And that healing process I have talked about in quite a few of my video that I'm not going to go deep now, as I think it is for us really to look within and the inner wounding, the inner child that we are trying to heal in order to come out as a person with pride, and with assertiveness as Aries should be. One point is also Pluto ingress in Aquarius since January this year. And Pluto at this moment is trining the moon. So it is also another aspect. That's why I say this is a positive lunar eclipse, that Pluto is helping Libra and sextiling the sun in finding our self-identities. And Pluto is really, it's going to be here in the next 20 years, helping us to go through this long, deep process of regeneration. Let the old die in order to reborn as a phoenix. Another good point of Venus is she is sextiling Jupiter in Taurus, that they will be conjunct very soon, in a month's time, less than a month time. And Venus and Jupiter is just, I think, is the feminine and the masculine aspect of gift, of positive energies. So there's another good energies here that helping us to understand who we are and who we are in a relationship. And so the Mercury retrograde, we will talk about it later. And as I said before, like I think this eclipse blanket in Libra, it started last year in October, and now 6 months later is actually, while we are going through this process, we are in a point to finally understand and closing this searching and this healing together with the North Node and Chiron, to closing this final stage of understanding who we are in our relationships, so that when on the 8th of April, when we will have the Aries solar eclipse, that would be the start of a new beginning. And if you have a look at your chart, you will see that now we have most of the planets in Pisces, in Aries, and in Taurus. Have a look which house they are. That is the main influence in your life at this moment. And I will go down to the next chart, next slide. Oh, here is just a few major planetary transits in this month and in April. And especially with Mercury, it entered in Aries on 9th, and it entered in its pre-shadow period on the 18th. And on the 1st of April, it will be in his retrograde period until the 15th. So the solar eclipse in Aries would be during Mercury retrograde. And I always think that Mercury retrograde is not something to punish, but in this case with Aries, is actually helping the fiery energy of Aries to be more introspective, to think a little bit more, to evaluate the circumstances, events, and people a little bit more, with a little bit more calmness, and try not to act too fiercely, too assertive. And here is the Aries North Node and Libra South Node characteristics. With this Libra South Node, these are the things that we should try to understand, to leave behind. Some things like seeing oneself through the other eyes, debilitating the selflessness, being the Mr. and Mrs. Nice, obsessive attachment to fairness and justice, codependence. That is something that I can say very much for Libra, and tit-for-tat mentality. As an Aries North Node, it is helping us, asking us to find our independence, our self-awareness, trusting our impulse, our intuitions, the courage as an Aries to do things, constructive self-interest, moderation in giving. Giving is good, overgiving is not, and self-nurturance. And I always say, we cannot love the others until we know how we love ourselves first. So to wrap up, I would say that this lunar eclipse is the closing and the opening of a cycle. We close with this lunar eclipse and we open with the Aries solar eclipse on the 8th of April. A lot of things are accelerating, and allow it. Somehow we cannot stop what is coming, especially with Jupiter and Uranus is conjuncting. As we are closing a cycle, the future isn't written yet. And you are the only one that are doing the script for yourself. This is through the process of finding your self-identity. And also knowing where to set your boundaries, where to give, where not to give. And because of these eclipse energies is not just now, it has a period of 6 months and even more. Just be kind to yourself and let the future to come. Even if you are confused, doesn't matter. We walk day after day, and somehow in one point you will know what's there for you, what's the future for you to write. And with that, I will stop sharing a little bit. And so far, I hope I didn't put too much information out, especially. And I hope you enjoyed it. And okay, we will go into the Arcturus Healing Chamber Mediation. And I give us a few minutes to adjust, to have a drink of water, and to get comfortable. If you want to lie down, for me, all is fine. And we come back in 5 minutes.